Hey, Miguel Lloyd, host of Life Full Circle Radio, and it is Memorial Day weekend, and I got the weekend beard for you because I just got off the grill because that's what we do. But we got to still get this Life Full Circle Radio in because a lot going on this week. We've had a rough week as we are dealing with the killing of the kids in Texas. Just terrible. What's going on out there? And just 12 days after Buffalo, just 12 days after Buffalo, we're dealing with this. And then we could go back and find more. It's just. Yeah, couldn't really find anything else to say. As I said, 12 days after Buffalo, we're being inundated with this story of these kids in Uvalde. Did I say it right that time? Texas. Kia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
all right. I want to say the number I heard was 19 children, 2 adults, who were senselessly murdered in that situation. And then as we learn more and more information comes out, we realize that it was a good 80 minutes, what we're hearing, almost an hour and a half, that this murderer was inside of the school and he had his way with children. Um, Go ahead, Kia. I'm trying to gather
Yeah,
my
your
words here.
wording is really, I'm not
I'm,
sure what's happening right now.
because it's really devastating. We had
Yeah.
an event this week with 100, and one of the things I do, I serve as a chaplain for the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, and I had was doing the prayer for this event, and I was in a similar situation. I'm at a loss for words, which is for people who know me, that doesn't happen much, but you just see this situation and just say, what kind of sickness do we have where people are just going out and saying, I'm going to go into a school full of kids and I'm going to murder a whole classroom full of kids? But go ahead, Kia.
Yeah. So, like Miguel said, this is the, well, he might have said this again, stumbling on his words, but this is the second mass shooting in a matter of 12 days. We had Buffalo first, and
Mm-hmm.
now we have the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde. That's still wrong. She just taught us how to say the city's name. Say it.
You going to ask, don't put me on the spot. I didn't try it once. Uvalde, I
Sorry, we're
believe.
not trying to be funny, but we practiced this naming of the city before the show to make sure we said it right. But there were 21 people have been killed so far. Two teachers, veteran teachers who have been there for years, and then 19 very small children. I mean, we're not talking about high schoolers, and there's never levels to this type of stuff. But when you think about little kids who honestly don't even have the capacity to know what's going on, who are probably like, oh, there's a loud noise, like, oh, maybe somebody dropped, like they don't have that capacity because they were little kids, and it's a very sad situation. The shooter, whose name I'm not even gonna say it, the shooter actually fired at his grandmother. Believe this woman is still in the hospital. He then drove the family truck, hit a ditch, and then got out of the truck from the ditch and walked into the school, where he began to fire. Police were dispatched to the school, and they were completely useless from all the stories that the media has been reporting, from me and Miguel has heard. They've actually, and it's shown on video, parents are just like, well, if y'all are not going to do anything, then we're going to go get our kids. He's doing probably what Miguel and me and most parents were like, if y'all not going in, I'm fine with getting shot at. I'm going to go get my kids. I'm getting whatever kids are in that classroom because these are our little babies. And they
Yeah.
were actually macing parents, arresting parents as they screamed on the ground. We don't just go get our kids. And I think the most tragic part of this is twofold tragedy. Of course, the death of the kids, and
Mm-hmm.
also the complete ineptitude of the police department that is slowly coming out.
Yeah. That's the part that really, because I just start painting pictures in my mind, and I said to myself, okay, when I started reading that they went into this school, it was going on in one particular classroom from what I read, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they basically said the reason why they didn't enter the classroom is because they felt like all the kids were already dead. So it was no longer a rescue mission; it was a contain the shooter mission, right?
Yeah. So let's go through the quick timeline. So at
Okay.
12:03, a student called 911 and identified herself and whispered and said she's in classroom 112. 12:10, she called back advising that there were multiple people dead. 12:13, the same student called for a third time. 12:16, she rang 911 back and said there were 8 to 9 students alive. 12:19, a 911 call was made by a person in room 111. She hung up the phone. Another student told because another student told her to. 1:21, you could hear over the call 3 shots were fired. 12:36, the initial caller called back, was told to stay on the phone and stay very quiet. She said the gunman had shot at the door. 12:43, she asked 911 to please send the police now. 12:46, she said that she could hear the police next door. 12:47, she asked 911 again to please send the police. 12:50, shots were fired and could be heard over the call. 12:51, it was very loud. Sounds like officers were moving children out of the room. At that point, the first child that called was outside before the call cut off.
So, when you're hearing these stories about what these police officers are claiming that they thought, I don't buy it. Here's what I buy. They were scared. These cops didn't want it. They just saw the situation last week, and they know about the other situations. This guy had full body armor on, and they didn't think they could take him down. And my thing is, if you choose to be a police officer, if you choose to be a cop, this is the job, right? And here's what we know. We know that those kids couldn't defend themselves. At least you have a gun. At least you have at least a vest of some sort that you could have walked in there with and tried to protect yourself. At least you could have went in there and tried to overwhelm them with the few. And I don't profess to be someone who understands. I'm not trained in this. You are. Those guys and girls and women, whoever were involved in that police force at that time, and I've seen stories about in Uvalde, they have gotten federal grants to get armored
Yes.
tactical gear and everything. They should have everything they needed to go in there and handle the situation much better. But now they want to blame a teacher for putting a rock in the door because they were running out to the car to get their cell phone. All of a sudden, it's their fault.
They've had a multiple, and this is another problem that everybody is having. It's not the cowardice. If it was just the cowardice, like y'all didn't want to go in for whatever reason, if it was that same story from beginning to end, I think everybody could slightly wrap their brain around it. The problem is that there have been multiple stories and multiple lies. So first y'all said y'all went in. Oh, no, we didn't go in. Well, some of us went in because some of us went in to get our own kids.
But you're not going. But then you are handcuffing other parents and tasing other parents to say, well, I'm going to get my kid if you're not going to do it. So you're handcuffing them, you're tasing them, and keeping them from trying to do what they want to do, which is save their own children. But then you have members of your team that are going in the building and getting their own. Now let's think about it like this: we've been in elementary schools. We both got elementary school, or we have kids, right?
Well, Devin's in high school.
Devin's in high school, but right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if they were in one classroom, that means that there were kids all over this school.
Yeah, it's in an elementary school.
It's an elementary school, so probably every one of those classrooms. Let's say there was 50 classrooms full of kids, and so some cop decided, well, I don't think my kid is in that classroom. So I'm going to go into this school, go get my kid, bring my kid out, but I still am not going to have the guts enough to go down to that classroom and help those other people's kids.
And you see what I could wrap my brain around is if the cop went into that classroom and said, my kids, Becky and Johnny, cool, y'all come, but all 18 of y'all grab hands, we're all getting out of there. And no one said the cop went in to grab their kids and the entire classroom and teacher. Right. Could you kind of wrap your brain around that? I feel like I could if that is what would
wrap your
happen.
brain around them about them just going to get their kids and leaving, or
no, I could wrap my head around if they went in to get
a whole line of kids and
like
them all
my
out.
kids in this classroom and every kid in the classroom and the teacher. If he got out everybody from their kids' classroom, I could be like, okay, they did something. They're trying to get they went to their kid and got everybody out. They got all 22 kids from that classroom, or they knocked on the next door like, okay, y'all, everybody, we're all getting out. But you specifically went into the classroom and said, you two just run out real quick and we're gonna go. Like,
it's
did they not think anybody was gonna find this out?
I don't think they care. I think we're really in a culture right now where there's a lot of people who just do not care. And we always want to go back, and it didn't start with Trump, but he definitely exacerbated it. You have someone who didn't care. He would say whatever was on his mind. He would do whatever he wanted to do and said, do something about it. We're really getting to that place now where you have police forces that are understaffed. People are quitting. So, and I really believe it's not the knuckleheads that are quitting the police forces.
No.
It's the ones we really need on the police forces are the ones that are quitting.
we want the knuckleheads to quit. And
Right.
you saw my tweet, and when Jason Whitlock, and we'll get to him in a second, it is not the men and women who really want to protect and serve and build their communities who are becoming cops nowadays. It is the dropouts who really shouldn't be police officers, who should be just serving burgers at McDonald's or working at Advanced Auto Parts. I will give you a perfect story really quick. When my husband was working as a GM at Advanced Auto Parts, a lot of those guys were leaving and girls were leaving because they weren't making as much money as they wanted. They were working a lot of hours, whatever. Some of them went to go be corrections officers because, you can make good money at that. They get good insurance, or I'll go be a cop because you can get good insurance and make good money. They could barely run a register, but now they're going to protect and serve or protect corrections officers. One of the people who became a corrections officer 2 years later ended up on the news because he helped other officers hold down an inmate while he was kicked in the face by a corrections officer. He shouldn't have had that job in the first place.
Yeah, I know later in the show we'll get into our segment of what it is that we're watching right now. One of the things that I'm watching is We Own the City on HBO.
I heard a lot about that.
Mm-hmm. And this whole show is about dirty cops and how they move. And I have law enforcement in my family. My dad was a cop 23 years, and conversations I've had with him. This is not. Of course, in any bad, there's always one bad apple spoils the bunch. That's the whole cliche, right? There's bad apples out there, a lot of them, and you look at this situation, you say, I'm a guy type of person. I hate bullies. I hate people who have a bully mentality about any walk, shape of life. And you got these people who get these badges and guns, who are not moving in the right way. And now what happened in this situation, to me, they ran up on a bully that they said, I'm not going to fight that guy. He's head to toe in body armor. He's got an AR-15, whatever, and I'm not losing my life for these kids.
And it's Uvalde, Texas. How much crime, honestly, how much crime is in Uvalde, Texas? Because how in some cities like, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, they run into dangerous situations all the time. So this wouldn't have been that much for them. But what are they really dealing with? Like some burglaries every now and then, some drug stuff. Like, were they even really prepared for something like this? I'm trying to wrap my head around a reasoning why they would just go, nah, we're cool. Well, we're just going to wait out here.
Here's the other thing that this is looks like it was a larger Hispanic community.
Yes. It was 90% Hispanic community. There was like one little white girl who passed away, God rest her soul.
Okay. So that also kind of sends my antennas up, right? Because it's saying to me, now I don't know what the law enforcement look like. I don't know what the police force looks like. Right, but did they sit up here and make the decision, okay, this is a large Hispanic community. I don't know where Uvalde is. I have to look at it on the map. Is it close to the border? You got to think about, you also have that mentality now amongst people that says, we got too many Hispanics coming across the border, and that's part of the whole talking points of the GOP. I just don't think there was enough. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what made them move so just without any level of empathy or caring about these kids, because if you are trained to go into battle, which that was a battle situation, as a police officer, you don't stand there for 80 minutes and watch this go down. And I need answers. And America needs answers. We need to know when they ask this, when they ask this chief of police and they say, and he basically says out of his mouth, yeah, we handled it terribly. There's no other way, shape, or form to even describe how it happened. And then you have a situation where, with the Ted Cruz, when Ted Cruz, the irony in the fact that the NRA convention is going on the exact same week, Trump is there, Cruz is there, Beto O'Rourke, which he's running once again in the Senate in Texas, and God knows, I don't know what folks got to do to try to get Beto O'Rourke in the Senate, because I'm not sure if he's running for Senate or Congress. I think he's running. But can you look that up real quick to see what he?
Am I looking up? I was just looking up for you that Uvalde, Texas, is about 40 miles away from the border.
Okay,
so it's pretty close. It's not a long drive.
Yeah, and so is that also the reason why they didn't rush in there to help? Because did they care? Did they care enough about these kids?
But they were also saying the shooter was from Mexico, and that he had come here
Sure.
illegally, and he was illegal immigrant, and that we need to protect our borders. And in reality, the boy was from North Dakota. You can't get more American than North Dakota people. That's where he was born. So,
Well, yeah,
like,
but yeah,
are
yeah,
we? What border
right.
are we protecting?
Well, once again, that doesn't matter because it's so funny. People always say, go back to where you came from, and it's some Irish immigrant. His family's been here for 100 years. Black folks been here for 400 years, but we need to go back where we came from.
Well, I'm from
That's
St. Petersburg, Florida. Where am I going back to? St. Pete? That's where I'm going back to.
right,
Don't do with me. But I
right.
will say, and to all of
Mm-hmm.
my true crime watchers of this show, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that this shooter looks so much like Richard Ramirez, it's almost freaky. Do you
Oh,
know who
where?
Richard Ramirez is?
No, where's my cricket? I need my cricket button. I got to relay. I have no idea.
The Night Stalker?
I don't watch the true crime stuff. I do not. No, I do
Okay.
not.
Richard Ramirez was one of the worst serial killers in the country.
Richard Ramirez. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
they called him the Night Stalker, but they could this boy and him could almost be father and son.
So here's the thing.
He's like,
Wow. No,
and don't care.
no. I do. I'm just because that's pretty freaky. But I guess according to this, I'm looking to say Beto O'Rourke's odds of winning Texas governor's race after Uvalde shooting. So let's do some research on it. I thought I heard that he was running for
Poor
office. Why do you say poor Beto? You don't think he has a chance in hell? What do you think?
Okay, I didn't say no chance in hell. You
What do you
just
think?
said that.
What do you think? But here's the thing. I just, I don't live in Texas, so I don't understand Texas politics to really get, to really get.
Designed for war and use something that is supposed to kill enemy soldiers on a battlefield against kids who were
So he is running for
7
governor.
and 8 and 9 years old. That's what I'm worried about. And those folks on that stage want to distract us with every manner of politics or theater or
Can you pause that?
mental health or video games, or there's not enough.
The reason I wanted you to pause it is because what he's talking about right before this, he stormed
Oh, I saw that.
a meeting. Yeah, he
Yeah.
stormed a meeting and
Mhm.
got put out. He
Yeah.
also got called a sick SOB by the mayor of Uvalde, whose city this happened in, called him a sick SOB, told him to get the F out in front of everybody. That's who
Yeah.
yelled at him like that. And now that mayor's also under fire for the police. It's just turning into
It's
the
a
worst
crap
political
show.
theater we can imagine.
It
And
really
enter
is.
everybody's favorite Negro, Jason Whitlock. Let's talk about Jason Whitlock.
Is he out? Yeah, he's yeah. Oh my God.
Go ahead, read it, Miguel.
I'm not defending the actions of the officers, but we've demonized law enforcement to the point that there are far fewer rewards for being a hero for taking risk. When your culture makes George Floyd a hero, real heroes stand down. Cultural rot has consequences. So let's tear this garbage apart that we just have here. Okay. When we demonized law enforcement to the point that far fewer rewards for being a hero, we're not hiring them to be heroes.
Keep going, you're good. Yeah,
We're not hiring them to be heroes. We're hiring them to protect our citizens. So it ain't about being Captain America, right? So then you say, when your culture makes George Floyd the hero, George Floyd ain't got nothing to do with this. George Floyd, rest his soul, is so okay. Second, real heroes stand up. We're back to the hero word again. This is not Captain America. This is not Marvel. This is real life. No one's going to snap their fingers and bring these people back to life. Cultural rot has consequences. That's probably the best. That's the most true thing he said in this garbage tweet. And you're a part of the cultural rot, Jason Whitlock. People like you in this level of mindset that you seem to look at this thing like all cops and all law enforcement are just these perfect heroic people. They are employees. Some of them are people who are just gun-toting maniacs that just happen to have a badge. And some of them are cowards. And so you talking about heroes and bringing George Floyd into this. And let me see, he used the word hero 3 times in this tweet. And so this is the nonsense that's got people all ginned up. But I know you don't want to share this with me. What's your thoughts on swole fat Jason Whitlock?
Yeah, and for those of you guys who don't know, this is not Jason Whitlock's first ride around the Sambo bicycle course.
Yeah, so Jason Whitlock started off as a sports writer. He's been in the game 30 plus years. Started off as a sports writer. He's known for being very provocative to try to get attention. He's gotten ran off TV now, so now he's running around in these social media streets stirring up crap.
I think he has a podcast.
Everybody's got a podcast. We got a podcast.
Sorry. Yes.
Right.
Everybody has a podcast.
Everybody's got a podcast. Yeah. So you had a response for Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, my response to him was that the cultural rot, it happens when we have, like I said earlier, people who shouldn't be police officers just being allowed to be police officers. You know, me and Miguel have a huge respect for the police and what they do. We absolutely do. My husband is a huge police fan. When he used to run advanced auto parts, they would come in, he would do whatever they needed to do because he respected the police. The problem that we run into is that we have too many police officers these days who are doing things they have no business doing, who are, you know, there was a police officer who made social media rounds, I want to say 6 months ago, because he was soliciting teenage girls online and using his badge and this kind of like I'm a bravado cop thing.
I'm a hero
to lure young girls through TikTok and social media and having sexual contact with them. He's in jail now, of course. I mean, they got him for what he did. There are other police officers who, you know, who have sexually assaulted women. There are other police officers who have done horrible things. And they make the vast majority of good police officers look really bad. Right. And that's why a lot of people don't want to be police officers anymore. They're retiring. It's like, oh, so they're hiring knucklehead 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, I'm good. I'm just going to go ahead and retire and call it a day. I don't have to be bothered with this.
Man, it's not the average citizen that can handle this. Guys, we need good cops. We do.
We need good cops.
We need folks leaving the military with that training, and you know, and then the whole conversation around what do we do about how do we protect these kids? I got elementary school kids, you know, and here's the thing. In our district, I'm going to end up being on the parents' council next year because I said, you know what? Well, I went up for the election. I said somebody's got to step in. Somebody's got to do something. At least be in the room. Because I want to know what is your plan? Like, what is your plan? You know, in our community, and it's so interesting because here's the thing. This is all about soft targets, right? Yeah. And every time this happens, it happens in an area that nobody would ever think that would happen in Uvalde.
Or in Buffalo, New York,
or Buffalo, grocery store. You know, at a grocery store that a bunch of elderly people. It's not funny. Here's the thing. When are they going to take that smoke in the hood where they know the dope boys are? They're not. They're not going to do it.
No.
Right? They're not going to do it. Why? Two things, reason why they're not going to do that. You got dope boys with guns, and you got cops that's patrolling them dope boys with guns. So that's the wrong place you want to be. You want to go out there in the suburbs somewhere where kids are out there practicing their ABCs, and then all of a sudden you can walk up in there and massacre a bunch of kids. What kind of depraved mind do you have to be?
Florida. I feel like our city, nobody. And we ain't got no crime here. I called the police the other day because we had some crazy Guatemalan guys walking around asking people to come to their house and taste TikTok recipes and do some crazy stuff. They didn't even got no house. I called the police as a concerned citizen and saying, hey, this is really weird. They're walking from door to door. A lot of us have kids. They said we drove around. We couldn't find them. So if you see them again, just call us. I was like, oh, that's it? Okay. Because it just doesn't fathom to people that anything serious, like you said, in these small towns, like Mineola, would ever have something happen like this. Like Mineola, honestly, is a soft target because nothing happens here.
Right.
We can't even get a good restaurant to come here, let alone a mass shooter. So it's awful.
Well, and that's the thing. But here's the thing about small towns. Small towns have got a bunch of NRA card carrying people who are shooting guns in their backyards because there's no cops within miles of them. You know, that's the challenge that we have to really be concerned about. And so I don't know, man. I just look at this thing and I just said, you know, we talked about this last week.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to what you were saying about you being on the teacher's board and what we're going to do. A lot of the plans that people are coming up with makes me nervous as a parent. I know you nervous as a parent, which I'm glad you're joining your kid's board because what is our school list going to look like for next year? On what we have to pack for our kids or get for our kids and they're no longer doing fire drill as much, but they are doing active shooter drills. Because now when you think about it, Miguel, our kids are more likely to die in a mass shooting at school than die in a fire at school. And it didn't used to be that way.
I don't want to believe that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you're not right, but I don't want to believe that. I believe that this stuff is so sensationalized. And we talked about this last week. We talked about Buffalo. I talked about how quickly Buffalo was going to leave the front page. Not because I knew this was coming. Obviously, I didn't know this was
Yes,
coming.
no, of course not.
Of course not. But my thought process was in around that it was black folk primarily who got killed, and there wasn't as much coverage. But here's the difference. The difference between what happened last week, which were black adults, and this was largely children, even though they are largely Hispanic children. And so that's the good thing. What I'm glad I'm seeing the response that we are seeing, with the fact that even though there's a lot of this country who hates people of minorities, brown skin and brown and black skin, and so but it happens so much. 12 days, and we didn't even think about the fact that the last weekend we haven't even really. It's not even in our consciousness that just the same weekend of Buffalo, there was 5 people killed in a church in California where someone Chinese went into and shot up and killed up a bunch of people who were Taiwanese. Who were Taiwanese.
He Chinese who shot a bunch of Taiwanese people.
Chinese talked a bunch of Taiwanese in a church. That's not even on the headlines anymore. That lasted 48 hours and it was gone.
Yeah. There have been a very large, I think they're saying in 2022 alone, they are saying there have been 27 mass shootings. Y'all, we are in June. June will be on Tuesday. No, wait, that's wrong. June will be on Wednesday, but still, we're only 5 months into the year, and we've already had 27 mass shootings. And every time they say that, I'm like, oh, mass shootings. But they're counting any amount of people who have been killed in a cluster by one person. That's what they're considering a mass shooting. And it's just really disturbing.
But here's the thing about that, kid. We have to now categorize what's considered a mass shooting.
Yeah.
When we grew up, we knew that there was people coming to the parties at the club sometimes, somebody outside the club, they come shooting up the club. Back then, we just like, oh, these cats, they wilding out.
They done shot up the club, y'all. They shot up the club.
That really is a mass shooting. That is something we should be more concerned about, right? But we are so numb to it. As long as we didn't catch a slug, we move on and we back at the house, back on TikTok. And that's the part that's just like, this is too normalized for us as a society. But one person who doesn't feel like it's normalized is my man here. Steve Kerr is always invited to the cookout.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check. 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
Nah, if he would have threw a chair. Like, he was 2 seconds from throwing a chair. I laughed because his anger was very gripping, and it was a lot. It's just like, wow, he's really upset, and he has every right to be. And I talked about it before the show. His father was basically involved in a school shooting. He was the president of America University of Beirut. He was shot twice in the back of the head in the hallway outside of his office, and Steve Kerr was only 18 years old at the time.
Yeah, Steve Kerr.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, Steve Kerr was a freshman at University of Arizona playing basketball, and so that ain't fake, guys.
No.
Don't think that that's some fake outrage that you're seeing with Steve Kerr. That's real outrage. That is someone who cares about people. I have a great love for people who care about people.
Yeah. And I kind of feel bad sometimes because when it happened, I didn't know what happened. Miguel knows this, but when I'm in work, I'm usually listening to YouTube podcasts, work, clean, pick up the babies. Like, I'm running around like a crazy person. My father called me to say, I just want to talk to the kids real quick. I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then he said, yeah, because, it just made me think with the shooting today. And I said, what shooting? What are you talking about? And there it was, I go on Twitter, and they're showing these pictures and all this stuff. And my first mindset wasn't, I want to try to get involved or something or tweet out something. My whole thing was, I'm off social media for the day, for the rest of the week. I'm just going to listen to silly stuff because you just want to, at this point, close yourself off to it and protect your own heart and your own mind and soul and you never know nowadays what images you're going to see that people put out on social media. I just wanted to protect, me and my husband's like, let's watch Big Bang Theory. Let's watch Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, we just need to stay away from this. And I feel like that's wrong sometimes.
No, you have to protect your own peace. And because I get it. I heard that there's pictures or video or something out there of the kids. I don't want to see that.
No.
I don't want to see that. Why do I want to see that? But that level of man, we sick, boss. I just keep reiterating. And there was NRA just before I came on the show on CNN. There was NRA board member some judge being interviewed on CNN, and he was so callous in his responses to Jim Acosta, who was asking him questions about, when is it gonna be enough? And he wants to talk about, one has anything to do with the other. Their go-to now is mental health. Well, you know why the senators want to talk about gun control? Because it doesn't cost them any money. But it does cost them money. Mental health. So we should be focusing on. I said, you know what, man?
Mental health.
It's just like some of them people. You just want to see them in a back alley somewhere and just punch them in the face. And
you do want to punch them in the face.
I just like, you sit back here, man, because you're in this ivory tower. You got to worry about these nut jobs coming after you. But then you think about it. It doesn't even, because it's mostly not black and brown people. You think about Sandy Hook, and you think about
it's not. No. You're right. It's not mostly black and brown people.
Not, it's people you think that they would care about, but you can tell that they don't care about anybody but themselves.
There was a Nazi guy who shot up that Jewish synagogue. What was that? 2 years ago, right before the Super Bowl. We are all Pittsburgh, or we're all Steelers. Whatever that sort of saying was for that city, but it was that synagogue that was shot.
It's so much that happens. It's like, but it is Pittsburgh. I believe it is Pittsburgh. Yeah.
But I have to make you laugh a little bit because when you get serious like this, our job is to always make you guys get a little bit of levity from the show.
Yeah.
But Ted Cruz had the nerve to take his fat butt and his family out to a public restaurant and thought he wasn't gonna get smoked. Did you see that video?
I did.
I was like, I'm stupid.
And I just look at this stuff and I'm just saying, what is it gonna take? And that's a whole different conversation about gerrymandering and drawing these district lines. Because I just can't believe it's that many idiots in Texas that keep voting this guy in.
I don't know what's going on, but he is going to get smoked like this. And he better stay in them white neighborhoods. Don't bring your butt to no, like Miguel said, don't come to no black neighborhood with this. Don't come in like, I just want to go to so-and-so.
But he don't give a doggone about going into none of them people's neighborhoods. This dude is named
He better not run
Cruz.
into a mom like me. I will pull up a chair, ask you to move over and sit right at your table and have a full conversation and order alcohol on your tab while I have a conversation with you about, sir, how many kids, like just let me know, Ted, what's the number of kids that could die? Like if you give us
That
a
will make
number,
you care. That will make
like,
you
what's
give
the
a damn.
number?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's 125 kids. So we're not there yet, but you're telling me that once we get to 125 kids, then you'll do something.
If you've been injured in
and he just it doesn't make any sense. And they want to say it's everything but guns. It's been video games, it's been rap music,
It's always rap music. You know, rap music. We're always the culprit. People love rap music.
True. It's been weed. It's been family values. It's been no fathers in the home. It has been too many doors in the school, according to Ted Cruz. There should only be one door to the school.
Oh, so is that so? If there's a fire, how are all those kids gonna get out of school?
Like I said, you're more likely to die from a mass shooter than a fire.
Okay, you ready? Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3.
So let's see when now the confrontation starts.
Oh, he took a picture with him first? Oh, Ted, you're stupid.
Because there are actually a lot of laws.
Yeah, but can you tell me, like, I have a young daughter.
Oh my gosh. Ted, no, for the can I take a picture with you?
I mean, background check. Tell me about background check. What about background? Background check. Can we do background check?
Sir?
Is it so hard?
All right, you don't want to listen to me?
But is
That's
that so
okay.
hard? No, I do. I'm just saying.
No, you actually don't.
And so,
But no, come on, Miguel. He fell for he's fallen for this before. This is like the 5th time he's fallen for you want to take a picture with me? You're a constituent, and every time this happens.
there's enough people who hasn't believing that he actually is liked. He's liked and loved by somebody in Texas. Somebody likes and loves him in Texas that keeps on voting this guy in, or he's got enough money that's also probably a combination of the two. You know, but here's the thing.
And again, this guy's doing it all wrong. This guy who's yelling at him, you're doing it all wrong again. You tell the ugly white girl he's sitting next to, think that's his wife, whatever. You ask her to slide down. You pull a chair up. You order a meal. You order a drink, and you refuse to leave. And then you say, "Oh, I'm a person of color, so if y'all gonna carry me out of here, it's gonna be a bunch of people taking pictures of it. So let's just keep it calm."
We're almost at a point now where these people like Ted Cruz do not care. If these security guys right now pummeled this guy, they would try to tell us your lying eyes. He was like, man, I'm just trying to have a conversation with the guy. And they just beat the brakes off me. Well, you know what? You know, his spittle was a threat to Ted Cruz, right? Who knows? You know, but here's the thing. This is the liberals and the progressives. This is their armor. This is their weapon. The weapon is talking. And that talking worked a little bit before. These cameras are everywhere, and it's supposed to make a difference. These rascals like Ted Cruz do not care.
No, he really doesn't care.
We got to vote. Let me finish this point. We got to vote.
Yeah.
We got to pay attention and fill out them census forms, because that's also part of the reason why they can redraw these lines. I've seen people getting right here in the state of Georgia been drawn out of their seats. We just had what's my sister's name? We just won anyway. Jordan Davis's mom, Lucy McBath. She just won a seat because she got pushed out of her seat with the redistricting, right? So what did they do? They redistrict her into a seat against another popular Democrat. So in essence, she beat the other Democrat, but it doesn't matter. In fact, the Democrats lost another seat in Georgia, not because of any sort of demographic shifts, but just because the drawings were redrawn by gerrymandering in the state of Georgia. And so now you have now the Congress is weakened by another body, another person in this state. You know, this is what these protesting, more people protesting outside the NRA convention than being in the convention. That looks great, but it's talk.
It doesn't do anything. I need y'all to stop protesting and do what Miguel said. Vote, do your census, ask for census to be changed when people get voted in, because again, the census, it's almost like if you press other, they consider you a white person, because we're a household of an other and a black person. So they don't know how to categorize that. So
that's intentional.
We had to change the subject. And we changed it to something funny.
That's intentional. The intentional is to make Cubans believe that they're white, or Lebanese people believe that they're white, because that helps that structure. All right. So anyway, Miguel Lloyd, Kia Shakur, Life on Circuit Radio is what you've been checking out, and make sure you follow us on the tubes.
Monique is back at it again, but I don't got time for Monique and DL Hughley's beef.
Oh Jesus Lord! I know I don't know anything about it, so we can circle back to that. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. A couple of little ratchet things that we say we got to get the ratchet in.
This is the first ratchet thing, the guy with the 30 kids.
Oh my God.
Okay, the reason why we brought
Hold on. All those kids his in that picture?
yes, all those kids are his children. And apparently in this photo, there's children missing who couldn't show up because they live in different states. So they couldn't arrive at the family photo shoot. They all have on matching shirts. I think the shirts say my dad's sperm works. I'm not quite sure. I would assume.
So based on what he said in his here's the thing. You guys know that if I wanted to, I could play the video from Instagram, but we're not playing that video.
We can't play it. We can't. We like to be a little provocative. By a little, I mean like a tablespoon at most.
No, so. if you want to search out my man, let's just say that some people know how to cuss real good. He's a good cusser.
But the reason why this went viral is because he wanted basically praise for taking care of all 33 of his children. And a lot of people were just like, so you send a check. That's great. You did Photoshop, but how much time have you actually spent with these kids? And some people have been like, oh, you guys are tearing down a black man who's being a father. But again, he's not being a father. He's a truck driver. So he has a kid in all these different states because he's a truck driver. Does he mail a check because he makes amazing money? Yes, he absolutely mails a check. But as you can see on Miguel's face right now, that means absolutely nothing when you have this many children.
There's no way in God's green earth he's been a father to 33 kids that he knows of.
No.
And it's like I hear these conversations around black man ain't nothing, y'all blah 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 blah. And I look at clowns like this and I'm just like, no, I want y'all. It's almost like we got to redefine, give them a new name. Don't put me in the same category with that guy.
You're right. You're pointing right. It's good. The other way.
There
you go. Yes. Don't put Miguel in the category of this guy.
That dude is what he is. You know, he run around. His machismo is telling him this is the best thing. Come on, dude. 33 kids.
But his video, guys, Miguel won't play it, and you should go listen to it because it's hilarious. He's literally making it seem like having this many kids is like the goal to prove that you're a man's man, is to have this many kids and satisfy this many women. And that's what he was. Well, can't really translate it was so bad, but that's really what he was saying. And he's not the first one to do this. I remember on Oprah a couple of years ago, there was a guy who had more than this children, and it came out because he had asked the court for a reduction in child support, where he was only giving $1.33 a month to each mother because he had so many children. And it was on Oprah, and he got chastised by Oprah, like, look at all these children that you have fathered, but you're not a dad to. So it's just goofy that he thought that his defense was going to help the situation.
Man, let these clowns be clowns. Don't put regular dudes in the box with clowns like this. Stop doing it, black women. He is not the benchmark. He is not the what you say, the curve. He is just some dude who feels like he can run around here, slang, drop all these kids everywhere. And I don't know how he's living. I don't know if he's taking care of himself physically. The brother got 33 kids. He
lives in his truck.
If he's a truck, yeah, he better live in his truck because he ain't got no money to buy a house, and all his money's going to take care of all them kids. And he ain't coming off that road ever.
No.
Like in order to pay for 33 kids, he that is his lifestyle. His lifestyle is to drive around the country 45 weeks out of the year. And
there's no retirement. There's no retirement ever.
Next. What's the story about CoraJakes?
So CoraJakes is a daughter.
Go ahead. You was ready to say it. Go ahead. People don't know. I was going to say, people say that Jake's name is there for a reason. Go ahead, Q.
CoraJakes is the daughter of world famous Bishop T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House. And I think everybody should remember her wedding. She got married. Didn't she get married at 19? Miguel, like she got married super young, and I remember everybody making a big deal out of it. But
I
the
don't
estranged
know.
husband has actually been arrested for child abuse, child sexual abuse. What he's been arrested for, and she had made it clear that she was divorcing her husband due to these serious accusations. And because of her job position at the Potter's house, because she runs the children's ministry, he has had full access to children. According to the source close to the family, he inappropriately touched and possibly more their 13-year-old adopted daughter Amari. So
So you elaborate. You was talking about this before the show. So
yeah,
what's this about her having an adopted kid she took from somebody? What was that? You said
yeah.
something about it was one
So
of her friends that she took the kid from, and
yes, one of her very good friends had fallen on hard times and wanted her to watch over the daughter, the baby girl that she just had. And not like she was on drugs or anything, but she was trying to get back on her feet. She was a member of the Potter's house, and she really was working hard to get herself back into an apartment, a home, and all this kind of stuff to get her child back. It got to the point where Cora decided that I'm just not going to give you your child back. And they were friends. And Cora has had quote unquote custody of this child and keeps telling people, well, she gave her to me, but there's no adoption papers in place, and the mom has been fervent online to other people, like, I really want to get my daughter back. And in a video now widely shared on social media, she said she was manipulated into having her child taken, and she's fearing that her child was also harmed. Her child's only 7 years old. So Cora seems like an evil person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about Cora, but here's one thing I'll take from the second part of that story. Stop worshiping these mega churches. And anybody that knows me, you've watched me for the last 10 years talking about this, and these mega churches used to be clients of mine. If you have a pastor or a bishop or whoever who's a rock solid person, cool. But don't sit up here and which calling them your daddy and they calling you their spiritual sons and daughters and all this nonsense, and then all of a sudden something like this comes up. Because Lord knows, if I have a feeling, and this is me speculating, pure speculation, but that woman let this happen because Jakes is a Jakes. She is TD Jakes' daughter, and she said this is the best thing for your child, and she woke up out of that spiritual coma one day and said, hold on, that's my kid. I don't care if that is Bishop Jakes' daughter. That's still my child. And now she's like, nah, I ain't giving you this kid back. That's crazy. You don't sit up and take people's kids.
Jakes, you got married at 19, so you basically didn't know anything about anything when you got married. So you didn't know probably how to build a real foundation and do like all the work. Another cool thing about Miguel and his wife. When I first got being around them, can I say this? About you guys doing therapy?
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. This is the biggest lesson that they ever showed me as a married couple, because I wasn't married at the time. Mm-hmm. They were in therapy within like you guys' first 2 years, not because anything was wrong, not because nothing was messed up, because you guys wanted to build a real foundation, a real partnership. Absolutely. I don't think Cora knew nothing about doing any of this, and she probably turned a blind eye to a lot of stuff. She probably just wanted to be married, didn't want to be a failure. And I just think a lot of these preachers' kids, these celebrity preachers' kids, are messed up. I mean, look at Carry On Franklin. Is the name not Carry On? Is it Carry On Franklin?
The one we did is the joint about that everybody wanted to hear what I had to say about the dude. That now he's out here. There's a show on one of these networks he's on.
He's on the Zeus Network on Bad Boys LA, and it is ratchet. It is everything.
Is it called Bad Boys LA? I just saw the clip from it, and it was bananas.
It's bad. It's a very horrible show, and not because it's about gay people. Because there's really
is it about? I don't even know.
It's about putting a bunch of ratchet gay men and gay boys in the house and watching them fight and yell at each other. It's ridiculous.
So Carry On Franklin, Kirk Franklin's son is gay?
He's coming out slowly on the show. That's the only redeeming quality of the show, is watching him struggle with who he is as a person.
What network is this on?
It's not a network is a strong word. It's on the Zeus Network. Network is a strong word.
It's on that network. Here's the thing. When I saw the promo was produced very well. And I looked at it and said, now, don't get me wrong. It could be produced very well and still turn me way the hell off. And I looked at that thing and was just like, oh, no, I'm not watching that nonsense. But it wasn't a ratchet, raggedy looking promo. It was well done. But it definitely codified it for me. What is the Zeus Network? I have no idea. So
you have to subscribe.
Okay, they won't get my $5.99 a month. I can tell by that promo.
It's $3.99. Thank you very much. Put respect on the name. But it's so funny. It's only $3.99, and I remember. Oh, I need to cancel this. It's only $3.99. I still remember.
You better get Truebill. Let me find me a Truebill affiliate link. You better get Truebill and get reminded when you got them doggone. Anyway, so hey guys, we try. We see what's been time ago. All right, so before we go, and we started a little bit late today, so I guess we can run over a little bit, but
we can run over a little
bit. I got to get back to my chicken and fried fish, but so let's get. So what you watching right now?
So my husband and I, we fall into these weird holes of stuff. We have started the Pirates of the Caribbean series, the actual watching all the shows in order. Don't tell me why, but it's fascinating.
With Johnny Depp? Isn't that the Johnny Depp joint? Oh my God! I haven't seriously watched Johnny Depp since 21 Jump Street in the 80s. He's just a dude.
Oh, come on! Pirates of the Caribbean is classic. Also on Disney Plus. I don't think I've ever brought this up if I'm looking at the list. Moon Knight on Disney Plus is actually a really good show. It starts off slow. Okay. It's about the Moon Knight character from the comic books. It's starring Oscar Isaac, who's an amazing actor. It stars. That's actually the only famous. Oh, and Ethan Hawke is in it for some random reason. Ethan Hawke is in this show.
Okay.
And it's a series, but it's also really good. Great moment. So that's kind of what we've been watching.
So we're watching, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we're watching We Own the City. We are watching that, and it's only 6 episodes, and that's it. Like, it's series finale. It's not gonna have another season. That's it. So it's got one more show.
It's just like one of those episodic things.
Yeah, it's only 6. It's only 6 episodes. And so the last episode of that'll be tomorrow. I still ain't finished Ozark. We're trying to finish that. Still ain't finished that. So I think we got 1 or 2 episodes left of that. And
did you get the First Lady?
Huh?
Did you get into First Lady?
You said that's on Showtime, right? We got to go ahead and add that. That's another $5.99. I got to sit up here and add to. But what's so funny? All right, so we know after a 2-year delay. After a 2-year delay, Top Gun got released. Top Gun 2.
I know. I saw that trailer the other day.
And here's the funny thing. So Trey and I said, "Hey man, so we gotta, we gotta watch the Top Gun, the original, so we know what's going on if we go see." Because that movie was 30, whatever
plus?
Years ago.
30 plus.
Yeah, I'm talking about that movie had to be 84, 5, maybe 6.
So older than me, because I was born in 85.
Yeah, there's a good chance that Top Gun.
Let's just look it up.
Hold on, I was going to say, I'm going to look up Top Gun and say the first one came out in 1986.
So I was 1. Maybe
the first one came out in 1986.
And that's when he met his wife or ex-wife, Nicole Kidman, on the racing movie, not Top Gun. But yes, Top Gun is old, and now it's basically him coming back apparently as the instructor to these kids.
Yeah, so it's funny because we watched it and it was so bad.
You guys, what is it on? Did you guys go to the theater?
No. We watched the original, the one you're looking at right now, from 36 years ago, because we said, you know what, we need to check it out to make sure we go see the next one.
Why was it bad?
It is so bad. See, here's the thing, because you don't understand how bad movies were in the 80s, and there's folks in the chat who can attest to this. It was a lot of that rah-rah music, that 80s rock music.
Oh yeah. That's now become stripper music.
And so it's a lot of that. And it's so funny because I fell asleep on it, but because I didn't need to. I got everything I needed to know. He killed his partner because he was irresponsible, and the next one is supposed to be his kid. And so that's the gist of what I really. There is nothing else in the original Top Gun that's like, ooh, that's a great storyline. I got to keep an eye on that. No, it's Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. There's a lot of gum chewing. There's a lot of hairspray and a lot of scenes with them on the beach and a lot of garbage. 80s TV like Top Gun, The Karate Kid, and all those movies. Oh my God, it's
But
funny.
you're right. It is.
It's
The
funny.
80s movies all, because when you do look back and you're like,
Yeah.
I like this. Like, what was wrong with me?
Yo, I was 14. That's
True.
and
But I
Go ahead.
Speaking of those movies, the new Jurassic Park is coming out, and I'm looking excited. I'm looking forward to that because I like the Jurassic Park films, so I will be watching out for that. I actually had my nanny, who's only 20, who reminds me every day how young she is. Doesn't know who Escape is, and had never seen the original Jurassic Park. I was like, "Well, you about to change these diapers, and you about to watch this movie."
Why
And
would
I'm
you
gonna.
fight? Yeah, that's what I saw that the other day. Why are you cussing out your nanny? I was about ready to pack up my thing. I said, what's going on with her and her nanny? I got to get to Florida. What's the deal?
Yo, no one read the full post. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, fire her if you don't like her, Kia." I was like, "Y'all read the whole post."
I'm just like, geez. So anyway, I don't have any cat fighting pictures this week. I mean, videos this week. I didn't pull my. Let me see.
Oh, I was hoping for a good one.
Let me see if I can find one real quick. Let me see if I can find one. Hold on a second. Let me see. You talk amongst yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, do you have the one of the lady who was trying to play musical chairs and she jumped on the chair and she broke it? That always makes me happy.
No, I don't know anything about that one.
Oh, you
Anyway,
have to watch.
no, I don't know anything about that one. I can always go to my go-to and find Tony Baker videos.
Oh, shout out to Dijon Perkins who said, "Thank you for the review. Now he doesn't have to watch the first one. You just basically gave him a breakdown."
Yeah, Dijon, we keep it real out in these internet streets. We know what's up because this is our era. So he's like, do I need? Because now we're so used to. Oh man, I can't go look at the next episode because I gotta see that episode. Hey everybody, you can go see Top Gun without looking at the 36-year-old Top Gun. Ain't nothing in there that's gonna be amazing, mind blowing.
Or do what I do. Go to Wikipedia and read the plot and then go, now I get the gist now I can go watch it.
That plot is 2 paragraphs. That Top Gun plot is 2 paragraphs.
So it's the Tyler Perry format?
All right, you ain't gonna be knocking Tyler again today. All right. So Tyler ain't done nothing to you in these streets. All right, so if you missed any part of the show, we've talked about Uvalde. God bless those kids and their families.
Yes.
Try to kind of get a little bit looser here at the end, have a little bit of fun. But we got to fix something, man. We got to pay attention to wherever your senator is, wherever your congressman is. There are 50 senators right now, including
Val Demings.
Val Demings. Well, how is she doing? Because my understanding that they got some dirt on her, and then we didn't get a chance to talk about Herschel Walker and his crazy behind out here.
Oh wait, no, we have to. Okay, guys, sorry, we were gonna wrap, but we have to spend 5 seconds on Herschel.
Okay.
Herschel's stupid.
That's the end. But here's the thing about Georgia voters are stupid. Now, because here's the thing, being from Virginia, I remember how much people idolized Herschel Walker 40 years ago. And there are people who only vote for their heroes, the people that they love. And these people in Georgia who love Georgia football, they just won a national championship. Herschel Walker is the best football player that ever lived for the Georgia Bulldogs. And that's what he's running on. No one cares about the CTE. No one cares about he put gun to the head of his. No, but all they care about is Trump supporting him, and he doesn't like Democrats. And some of this idiotic stuff he got up on the camera, I got to look at it. I saw somebody said he was interviewed by Killer Mike. Killer Mike has a show. I don't know if it's national or not, but Killer Mike has a show on public broadcasting here in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia. He interviews a lot of folks. He just interviewed Herschel Walker. I need to go check it out. People are not happy because they say he didn't go hard enough on him, but we'll see. But we can't let a Herschel Walker get in there. We already got Marjorie Taylor Greene here in Georgia. Ain't nobody gonna be here because nobody want to live up in Rome, Georgia.
Do you want to hear Herschel's quote?
Do I want to hear Herschel's quote? I think I did hear Herschel's quote on the interview.
Okay, because it says, what I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. And then he went on to say,
I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick because he sounded like a blooming idiot when I heard him talk. You know what? Where is it? Is this it?
I'll keep talking. What we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. They talk about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that could look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at that's looking at social media? What about doing that? Looking at things like that. If we can stop that way.
I'm just that, and you did Herschel Walker really well. Unfortunately, you did an idiotic Herschel Walker real well. All right, y'all. Y'all go find the clip on your own. Herschel Walker sounds like an idiot. Look on Twitter. It'll probably pop up by just putting that in your search field. Shout out to everybody who hung out with us today on your holiday weekend. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Be safe.